Have you been getting more movement and then feeling triggered? Have you ever found getting movement throws you off? Have you gotten movement only to be set back to old patterns, beliefs, and fears once again? Are you wondering what it takes to keep your movement and turn it into more and more? If you said yes to any of these questions, this video is for you. This is one of the biggest obstacles that I see my clients facing. They get movement, and then sometimes this is, causing them to get triggered, to be thrown off. So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to handle the movement that you're getting and how to keep the ball rolling and creating the snowball effect rather than going backwards. Hello, everyone. I am your muse, Traci. I am your favorite manifestation coach. I am here to inspire you and empower you to live the life of your dreams, to create on purpose exactly what you want in all areas of your life, to stop settling and to stop suffering. You are not here to suffer. If that sounds good to you, you are more than welcome to subscribe to my channel, and I offer one-on-one coaching. In my coaching program, we take a deep dive into your subconscious programming or your belief system, and we do the work to change the programming that is effectively covering up and masking your true nature. I will take you through the process of identifying and changing your programming. I'll also teach you how to integrate the creator belief system. I'll teach you how to release stored emotions from the past that are blocking you and sort of sabotaging you, as well as teaching you how to process your emotions on an ongoing basis, as well as much, much more. We meet 2 to 3 times per week in my program. In between sessions, you have email access to me. This is an intensive month of coaching, and I designed it that way to create real transformation. This is for you if you want to move past the one-off coaching sessions that are, a Band-Aid, right? We're not doing Band-Aids anymore. I am here to help you to create real transformation in every area of your life and return you back to your true nature of being an effortless, unlimited creator. This is your birthright. This is your nature. This is your natural state of being. So we just need to get back to that, really. Most of my clients will stay with me 2 to 3 months to integrate the teachings. Some stay longer, some stay shorter. It's always up to you and the amount of support that you want at this point. Either way, my clients come out of the program transformed and back in their ability to create everything that they desire. They stop struggling, they stop suffering, and they finally understand how to apply all the manifesting knowledge that they've been consuming for years. So, let's get on to the video. So onto your movement. And in this video, I'm talking about 3 ways to make sure you are keeping your movement and your momentum going, right? So rather than getting movement and getting, derailed by it, that's not what we want. So first off, big props to you getting movement. So you're out of the, I'm not getting movement category. I'm going to talk about this in a future video. You're never in the no movement category, by the way, and you need to learn how to get out of that in your mindset. But that's not what this video is about. So you're out of the no movement category and you just need to figure out how to keep it going. So you've obviously learned how to apply these concepts and you're getting movement. So amazing and congratulations. Well done. So believe it or not, getting movement is what I see, something that I see throws off my clients more than anything else. And it's surprising, right? We think, oh no, when I get movement, I'll be good to go. But this isn't actually what happens. And maybe you're watching this because you're resonating with this as well. So this is not what we want, which is to spend all of our time and energy changing the programming, beliefs, and learning how to manifest. And you get movement showing up when you do that. So we don't want to spend our time doing this hard work to only then be triggered and sort of like back in victimhood basically all over again, right? So we don't want to get movement and then just lose it and become triggered, maybe more triggered than before. So what are the 3 things that you can do to keep your movement and turn your movement into more and more and more movement, creating the snowball effect? You know, when something snowballs, you know what that means, right? Like the momentum in the positive direction becomes more and more and more and more until the momentum is unstoppable, like a snowball that's gaining more snow and more momentum as it rolls down the hill. This is what we want to create for you. And I'm going to teach you how with these 3 things that you need to remember to keep your momentum going. Number 1, and this is the most important one. We're going to start, right out of the gate with the most important one. And that is you realize that there is an unfolding to your full manifestation. So this is so important because I'm not saying that it can't all show up in the snap and, a blink of an eye. Yes, of course. But what I've seen almost 99.9% of the time, if not 100% of the time, is there's an unfolding. Okay, there's a bit of movement and then some non-conformed parts, and then a bit more movement if you stay on track and apply these 3 things that I'm going to talk about. The movement, can continue. So there's an unfolding to your full manifestation. You have to understand this, okay? And that a lot of times what happens is some positive reflections come up, let's say with SP or with money or with whatever you're manifesting, but it's not quite the whole picture yet, okay? This is nothing to be triggered about. This is nothing to be worried about. Like, you don't have to be worried like, oh, this is just a partial manifestation. No. Understand that the bit that is showing up is evidence of your full picture, your full manifestation showing up. It's evidence of the full thing showing up. And as long as you don't block the full manifestation from showing up, i.e., by being worried that it's not going to, being worried that this is all you get, being worried that it hasn't yet, it certainly will. Again, your movement, the start of the unfolding, is evidence of the full picture if you let it happen, right? If you don't get the partial and then go, but what about this piece that I still want? Why isn't this here? And oh no, I don't get to have this. We're not doing that. We're seeing the little bits showing up and we're going, evidence of my full manifestation. Amazing, right? So that's how you want to view your start of movement, your movement that is showing up. It certainly will show up. In other words, you have to maintain your balance while it's sort of in the unfolding process. You have to maintain your balance. Now, what I see happening a lot of times with my clients when they do see their movement starting to show up, but it's not the full picture, the non-conformed pieces trigger them, right? As in they take those to mean that they don't get the full picture. They don't get the full package. They get worried or triggered about the unconformed parts. When if they just stay the course and go internally regarding the yet to conform pieces, everything would continue to unfold and snowball seamlessly. Now let's take an example. Okay, I know you guys like tangible examples. So for an example, if your SP is showing up and let's just say they're asking you for a date and you go on the date and you have an amazing time and there's fireworks and there's sparks and there's everything that you wanted in the date. It's amazing. But there's no talk about commitment. There's no talk about, future planning, etc. This is where you enjoy the date fully, this part showing up, and you take this as evidence that you'll get your commitment, absolutely. And you don't need to stress or doubt that this is all you get. Oh, all I get is just a date. I want the full package. I want marriage, family, commitment, everything. You don't need to doubt all of that. There is more unfolding, but you have to allow it. You have to know that. This isn't about accepting breadcrumbs either. This is not what I'm talking about. This is about having a high self-concept, knowing that you are worthy of the full picture and that you are the one in control anyway. You are the one who brought the date into your reality, right? And you will continue to bring more and more in regarding the commitment or whatever else it is that you want. You don't need to regard your 3D as proof of your limitations. There are no limitations, right? But you have to be the one that sees, okay, yeah, this is the unfolding. No worries. This is proof of my full manifestation. It's not proof of lack, right? So we don't perceive it that way. Okay, so this is the first thing to keep in mind. Number 2, remember that you do not need evidence of your manifestation, your full manifestation. Your job is to live in the end of your manifestation, regardless of what is showing up, right? So why am I saying this? Because you probably know this. I know you know this, and you implemented this. That's why you got the movement in the first place. You were living in the end, and here it is now. But what happens when we get movement is then we get overly involved with the 3D again, because there's this thing showing up that we really like and we're really enjoying. And so rather than dominantly being in our inner world, in our inner state, because we got the things showing up out there, we sort of get off balance and we get overly involved with the 3D reality and what is showing up. And we tend to slip back into trying to make things happen in the 3D reality, or thinking that we need to make things happen in the 3D reality, rather than focusing internally dominantly to create what we want. Simply put, here's the ideal thing that you need to do. You enjoy what is showing up, but you don't get too overly involved with the 3D to the point that you become reliant again on things showing up out there in order for you to feel good and to feel satisfied, right? So you enjoy the things the movement that is showing up, and you don't feel like there's other things missing, right? Because again, go back to number 1, the more is coming. This movement is proof that you'll get the full picture. And you don't need evidence of the full picture. In my example, I'm using commitment. You don't need evidence to know that the full picture is coming in. You didn't need evidence for the date. If you did, it wouldn't have shown up. So you need to keep your balance and go back internally and focus on the next step. And that's what number 3 is, by the way. So number 3, and I said, this builds on the previous one. When you get movement showing up, you need to go immediately to the next step, right? So when you get the date, you go immediately to living in the end of the next step, rather than getting the date and needing evidence of the commitment. No, you don't need evidence. So just like you were living in the end of the date, again, you must have been, because that's why it showed up, as within, so without. Now for the full picture, or even the next step, I'm a believer in going in steps. This is how I did it. This is what works for most of my clients. You need to go in steps. So you get the date. Now your job is to live in the end of the next step. If the next step, maybe the next step is regular dates. Consistency in seeing each other, consistency in dating, right? That's usually the precursor to a relationship, a commitment, right? So you go to the next step immediately. You go to the next step and you live in the end of that next step, because you always have to go first in your consciousness, right? As soon as some movement is showing up, you go on to the next step. You're not waiting, right? We don't need evidence. You're not waiting. And again, when you go to the next step, so you go, oh, amazing date. Now I know that he or she had an amazing time, and we're seeing each other regularly, and you live in that place. You're not waiting for the next phone call, the next invite to feel like this is happening on a regular basis. No, you go first. You go to the next step, and you live in the end of the next step. So these are 3 ways to keep your momentum going and to create the snowball effect known as momentum. So these are things you can apply right away to make sure that you keep going and you're not getting thrown off track by your movement. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.